Wait. Alright. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what are you talking about? I am recording. I'm just trying to get in the mood. You see, even else is getting into it. All right, that's enough emoting. What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. BBL Drizzy playing in the remix. Playing with your Phoenix. Because we about to rise from the ashes. No eyelashes. She watching from the bushes. Gashes, mashes, sashes. Through her eye patches. I don't know. All right. Welcome in, guys. How's it going? My name's Cringe Lord Eric Pullman. Welcome in. We're about to read an audiobook. Last chapter. Well, actually, 2 chapters left. Currently, I am working on a project. It is called, one second, BBL Drizzy by Metro Boomin. All right. All right, okay. Okay. We're not working on that. We're working on this other project. It's called just kidding. It's called The Revenue Cure. Strategies to eliminate revenue loss, improve compliance, and safeguard your practice. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We are on our last leg of this recording stream. We're on our last Your Honor, we're on our last leg of this tour, and we're doing it well. So, just kidding. We're on Logic Pro. Okay, I'm a professional. All right. Okay. All right. So we just bounced chapter 13. We're going to be on chapter 14. And in addition, we have chapter 15 as well. But chapter 15 is a little bit shorter. I'll show you what we're working with here in a second. But that's what we're dealing with tonight. That's what we're dealing with tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it won't screen mirror. It was doing this before. Maybe it just won't screen mirror when it's charging. What if I take it off the charger? Oh, still won't screen mirror. Too bad. What if I take off the I got an idea. Okay. Now let's try. Yes! I don't know how that worked, but it did. It did. It did. It worked. It worked, guys. Check it out. Bing bong. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. Chapter 14. Oh, hey, look at that. The chapter I should have been working on. Chapter 14. The cost of doing nothing. How meta. How meta. How meta was that? That was quite the meta. It's sponsored by Mark Zuckerberg. Because this was meta. Because I was doing nothing before this. I was dancing to BBL Drizzy. And my girlfriend was shaming me. She's out there in the distance. All right. Chapter 14, which, by the way, you got to have somebody in your life that will shame you when you're doing nothing. You gotta have somebody to shame you into action. Because if you don't have that, then you'll wallow around and sit on the couch and suffer the cost of doing nothing. Chapter 14. All right, let's see what happens when I plug this in. Can I help you? She's fine. She can chill. Hello? All right, chapter 14. Let's get to it. Chapter 14. The cost of doing nothing. Why inaction quietly damages a practice's health. Why inaction quietly damages a practice's health. Medical practices seldom choose to stick with outdated revenue cycle systems because they think those systems are ideal. They usually stay with the same systems because the daily demands of clinical care and administrative tasks make it hard to take a step back and assess the actual financial performance of their current processes. When physicians and staff are already overwhelmed, any change seems risky. The routines, even flawed ones, feel predictable. The belief that updating the revenue cycle will cause disruption or require a lot of effort becomes a barrier to progress. This is understandable, but it is also very costly. Inaction does not maintain stability, it undermines it. It undermines it. The flaws in outdated billing systems are not static, they worsen over time. Minor inaccuracies today can become reoccurring errors a year later. Denials that seem manageable now can turn into chronic issues next year. Slow reimbursements that feel like temporary delays can turn into financial burdens during seasonal volume peaks. Practices that don't adapt fail to realize how rapidly their environment is changing. Payers introduce new policies each year. Coding guidelines evolve. Compliance standards expand. And patient responsibilities continue to increase. These evolving factors require updated workflows in modern financial systems. When a practice does nothing, it takes a reactive stance instead of shaping its financial future. When a practice does nothing, it takes a reactive stance instead of shaping its financial future. Hold up. I'm going to take it. I'm going to set this down for a second. Ooh, take this off. Take that off. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Shake my cup up a bit. Don't drink from it. Never let them know your next move. Take a drink from it. Be predictable. Okay. Okay. Instead of shaping its financial future, it merely reacts to issues after they arise. This reactive approach damages profitability. Claims that could have been paid are written off. Improvements in documentation are never made. Underpayments go unnoticed. Denials that could have been avoided become a routine part of daily operations. Over time, the buildup of inefficiencies becomes a structural weakness that is harder to fix. Hey, lay down. Can't have you walking in the recording, girl. Denials that could have been avoided become a routine part of daily operations. Over time, The buildup of inefficiencies becomes a structural weakness that is harder to fix. Okay. Denials that could have been avoided become a routine part of daily operations. Over time, the buildup of inefficiencies becomes a structural weakness that is harder to fix. The cost of doing nothing isn't counted in a single dramatic moment. Instead, it's shown in the steady, quiet loss of revenue that the practice has already made but hasn't collected. It's reflected in the administrative burdens placed on staff who have to work around outdated systems. It's evident in the mounting frustration of patients who face financial confusion due to old communication methods. These effects start subtly, but they always increase. What seems manageable now can become a major obstacle over time. Understanding the true cost of doing nothing gives practices the clarity to see that inaction is not a neutral choice. It's a decision that leads to financial loss, administrative burdens, and strategic limits. The practices that succeed. John Jor, appreciate the follow, my dude. John Jor, ladies and gentlemen, that's going in the recording. It's going in the final cut, John. Thank you so much. I appreciate the follow. You're awesome. It's a decision that leads to financial loss, administrative burdens, and strategic limits. The practices that succeed in the future will be those that recognize this clarity and act decisively. How outdated processes create a slow decline in performance. When a revenue cycle system becomes outdated, it doesn't fail all at once. Instead, it fails gradually. Each obsolete process introduces small inconsistencies that quietly build up over time. The billing workflow becomes increasingly overloaded with tasks that should have been automated. Eligibility errors that could have been avoided waste staff time. Claims needing only minor corrections remain unresolved because the team is overwhelmed. Denials slowly rise as payer rules change, but the practice hasn't adjusted accordingly. These inefficiencies compound year after year until the practice realizes that a significant portion of its revenue has simply been slipping away unnoticed. The gradual that's too much energy. Hold up. The gradual decline starts with a lack of visibility. Outdated systems often fail to provide real-time reporting. They do not show trends. One second, let me check something. Just like to double check this real quick. And okay. Actually, hold up. Let me pause this. Cause we just hit a substantial milestone. Check this out, guys. Check this out. I didn't realize this while he was here, but check this out, guys. Check this out. Bam! Your followers' goal of 100 was just completed 3 minutes ago. Dude, thank you so much, John. John Jor, you are our 100th follower, man. Thank you so much. Follower number 100, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. We just passed an incredible milestone. My very first milestone here as a Twitch creator, so this is phenomenal. Thank you so much, John Jor, for the follow, for pushing us over that milestone. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. Who knows? Who knows? But I appreciate that because you just allowed us to meet that follower goal. Thank you. And Sweet Roll Woofy, I did not see that you cheered 1 bit yesterday. You cheered 1 bit. All right, the poison for Cusco. The poison chosen especially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. That poison for Cusco. I will learn that one day, and we'll do that monologue. I promise you. We will do that. Dude, that is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. And also thank you again to Maddie, who cheered 50 bits, and I didn't even see it until she was long gone, so I appreciate you. I will have to give you a Twitch whisper. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, what else? I just had to celebrate the small wins. Ladies and gentlemen. The small wins. 4 wins. Blowing through her hair. All right. The gradual decline starts with a lack of visibility. Outdated systems often fail to provide real-time reporting. They do not show trends in denial categories or identify payer underpayments. They also do not reveal whether claim edits are caused by documentation gaps or coding inconsistencies. Without visibility, the practice cannot identify weaknesses in its revenue cycle. It keeps operating as it always has, even as payer behavior changes and reimbursement rules become more complex. Okay, I just realized I jumped back into this and I didn't double check where I stopped. And the potential exists that I could have jumped over it. I don't think I did, but let's check. Decline starts with a lack of visibility. Nope, I already read that. The system's portion of its revenue has simply been slipping away unnoticed. Okay. It's not bad. I don't hate it. So we'll continue. But I wanted to make sure that that was, in fact, recorded. I had to do it. To him, ladies and gentlemen. So, complex, we are here. All right. I'm going to do that in my mind. I'm going to put it to the top so I don't forget where I was. And I did that before just to make sure, but then I wanted to double make sure. I wanted to be doubly sure. Pauly Shore. Paul E. Shore. Jersey Shore. Snooky. I wanted to be so sure. Jersey Shore. All right. Back at 'em. Back at 'em on the eve. A second issue arises when the workflow itself. A second issue arises within the workflow itself. Staff members become used to workarounds that address system flaws. They learn to manually re-enter information. They call insurers repeatedly for clarification. They process claims in ways that no longer follow updated payer guidelines. Each workaround adds time, increases administrative workload, and raises the chance of errors. Over time, these inefficiencies become part of the practice's culture. The workflow shifts around deficiencies rather than optimal practices. A final challenge occurs when outdated systems weaken the practice's ability to adapt to industry changes. When documentation rules evolve, the practice often struggles to keep up. When a payer updates its policies, the billing team is left trying to interpret new requirements without technological support. When patient responsibility increases, the practice lacks the tools needed to communicate costs clearly. To communicate costs clearly, or to offer modern payment options. Without modernization, the practice falls behind competitors who invest in updated infrastructure and streamlined financial processes. This slow decline impacts every aspect of the practice. It influences cash flow, patient communication, staff productivity, provider satisfaction, and long-term financial stability. The downward trend continues until leadership chooses to modernize. The sooner that decision is made, the easier the recovery becomes. The increasing risks of falling behind in a competitive landscape. Healthcare is changing quickly, and practices that do not adapt face competitive risks that go beyond finances. Larger organizations and new healthcare groups invest heavily in advanced revenue cycle systems because they understand that financial performance impacts every aspect of the patient experience. These groups use real-time eligibility tools, automated claim scrubbing, advanced analytics, and integrated communication platforms. Their efficiency draws patients in, boosts provider satisfaction, and enhances the reputation. Smaller practices that fail to modernize unintentionally open doors for competitors. When billing communication is unclear or delayed, patients lose trust in the practice. When financial procedures seem outdated, patients see the practice as less organized or less responsive to their needs. When staff are burdened with administrative tasks, patient flow slows down and clinical operations become strained. When claims are inconsistent, providers feel frustrated and uncertain. Competitors who have embraced modernization provide a smoother experience. They communicate more clearly and respond more quickly. Their financial processes feel organized and predictable. The revenue cycle systems run quietly in the background, supporting the practice without becoming a constant source of stress. If a smaller practice does nothing, it risks falling behind. It becomes more difficult to attract new patients and retain current ones. Providers might feel pressured to join larger groups solely to escape administrative burdens. This practice could also struggle to grow its services due to an unstable financial base. In healthcare, standing still is equivalent to falling behind. Practices that recognize this reality position themselves for long-term independence. Practices that neglect it risk being overtaken by organizations that have invested time and resources to develop a stronger financial foundation. Why proactive modernization is the only sustainable path forward. Medical practices don't need to make drastic or disruptive changes to improve their revenue cycle. They should take deliberate, proactive steps that strengthen financial processes and support the long-term stability of the organization. Proactive modernization allows practices to shift from reactive problem solving to strategic financial management. It creates predictability, enhances compliance, provides staff with the tools they need to work efficiently, improves patient communication, and stabilizes cash flow. Most importantly, it builds the financial resilience necessary to handle future challenges. Modernization can take different forms based on the practice's needs. Some practices improve their internal processes by investing in updated technology. Others use advanced automation tools that make eligibility verification, claim scrubbing, and payment posting easier. Many choose to work with outdated revenue cycle partners who have the expertise and infrastructure to support consistent performance. No matter which approach is taken, the goal remains the same: to create a revenue cycle that is accurate, efficient, and flexible. A proactive approach empowers the practice. It turns financial uncertainty into financial clarity. It reduces administrative friction and enhances patient experiences. It frees providers and staff from the burdens of outdated processes, allowing them to focus on high-quality care. It positions the practice to grow with confidence instead of operating in constant reaction to emerging challenges. Proactive modernization isn't just optional. It's crucial for long-term success. Taking action now will provide the stability needed to stay independent, competitive, and financially strong. Take a micro break real quick. Understanding the true cost of doing nothing. I'm going to stay hydrated. I'll open this up for a second. Let some of the hot air out. Take a deep breath in. Breathe it out. Okay. I think that was probably long enough of a break. That was probably enough of a break. Oh, I'll stop there. Understanding the true cost of doing nothing. All right. Let's get to it. Come on, Jeffrey. You can do it. Pave the way. Put your back into it. Tell us why. Show us how. Look at where you came from. Look at you now. Zuckerberg and Gates and Buffett. Amateurs can all right. Let's go ahead. Understanding the true cost of doing nothing. Small to mid-sized medical practices face pressure from patient care demands, documentation requirements, administrative tasks, and evolving regulatory standards. When the daily workload already feels overwhelming, the idea of changing revenue cycle systems, revenue cycle systems or implementing more advanced processes or implementing more advanced processes often seems inconvenient or risky. Many practices stick with familiar systems simply because they believe a change will be disruptive. However, doing nothing is the most costly decision a practice can make. The damage caused by inaction doesn't happen all at once. It slowly builds up through overlooked mistakes, unnecessary rejections, outdated procedures, and missed financial opportunities that gradually weaken the practice's stability. Although these systems might not be immediately visible on a balance sheet, they eventually might not be immediately visible on a balance sheet. They eventually slow growth, overwork staff, and harm the organization's financial health. The healthcare environment does not reward practices that stay the same. It rewards those that adapt. In a field marked by constant regulatory changes, shifting payer expectations, and increasing patient responsibility, remaining idle gradually puts the practice at a clear disadvantage. The hidden financial drain. Every medical practice loses revenue due to preventable errors or outdated processes. When claims are not addressed promptly, insurers delay or outright deny payments. When documentation is incomplete or insufficient, services are downgraded or reimbursed at lower rates. When coding accuracy is inconsistent, the practice forgoes revenue it has rightfully earned. When patients receive unclear billing communication, balances remain unpaid and often age out. These revenue losses rarely occur suddenly. Instead, they gradually build up. Through small underpayments, delayed reimbursements, missing secondary claims, and incorrect adjustments. The overall financial impact is significant. Practices that regularly update their revenue cycle see noticeable improvements in clean claim submissions, payment consistency, and overall revenue flow. Practices that rely on outdated systems continue to lose money unnoticed, which affects their long-term stability. The operational cost of inefficiency. Hold up, let me write this idea down. Ideas sometimes come to me, and I gotta write them down when they come. Okay. Ooh. almost done with that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And just like that, a star is born. And just like that, a star is born. I love ideas. If I could just sit and think about ideas all day long, I would do that. I love ideas. Ideas are amazing. Like, I could just sit and think forever. Like, the expansiveness to which my mind grows knows no bounds. It is quite literally boundless, and I love that. I love that. It's just like allowing my mind to explore every possibility and being okay with that is such a cool and liberating feeling. And I want to experience that as often as possible. And to be quite honest, you can't do that while working a full-time job. You just can't. I wish you could. That would be honestly the best of both worlds. But at the end of the day, your full-time job's going to expect things out of you. And that's going to require you to direct your attention outside of things that are just innately curious to you and toward things that are monetarily uh, calling your attention. There's a better word for that. Things that are like in the moment that are calling your attention. But to find the words of some things and to piece them together is quite a joy to me. I love writing. I love the idea of writing. I love the way in which it is structured. I love the way it can tell a story. I love the way that you can deliver a message in a compelling way that changes lives. I love that. Like, I love streaming because it's an impromptu speech, really. You're up here freeballing. You're improving the entire time. And I love that. You're playing off of the crowd. People will throw things at you, and you could take it and run with it in creative and unique ways. I just really enjoy the expansiveness of exploring ideas. And if I could just do that, you know, for the rest of my life, just do that, the exploration of my mind and the minds of others through books and podcasts, God, that is all I would ever do, you know? That's all I could ever ask is just exploration of ideas. I love ideas. I love fleshing them out. I love listening to bad ideas and trying to correct them in a productive way, not in insulting way. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And it's not for the faint of heart. A lot of people are kind of intimidated by it. The whole practice scares them. That's why when they hear somebody using larger than life words, it's usually like, well, that's a $10 word. That scares me. I don't want to know what that means, because to know for a lot of people is to be hurt, and you have to be okay with that hurt. At the end of the day, I think it doesn't have to impact you in a way that is negative. You can take it as a constructive criticism, or dismiss it outright as something that's not something that's necessary to incorporate into your being. Some people are just mad and bitter, and that's okay. As long as in your mind you can say it's all right for them to be mad, to be bitter, to be spiteful at the world, and it's okay for them to exist in that way without them impacting me in a substantial way. I don't know them personally, so I'm not going to take it personally. As long as you're open to that possibility, I think you're okay to explore the world and be hurt, as long as you can talk yourself out of that and off the cliff. I think that off the cliff is being like you're backing up away from the cliff, not you're jumping. So just to be clear, but yeah, I think it takes being willing to be hurt in that manner to be okay with exploring the world freely and without care. So yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love ideas. And you can explore ideas too. Come along for the journey with ReaderRick. The operational cost of inefficiency. The cost of inaction also impacts how the practice functions internally. Outdated systems force staff to spend unnecessary time fixing preventable errors, addressing recurring problems, and navigating inefficient workflows. Front desk teams become overwhelmed by eligibility issues that could be automated. Billing teams waste hours each week handling denials caused by outdated processes. Providers face extra administrative fatigue from documentation systems that slow them down or fail to support accurate coding. Over time, inefficiency becomes a cultural burden. Tasks take longer, morale declines, and staff frustration grows. The administrative environment shifts from being reactive to strategic. Practices that modernize their revenue cycle not only recover lost revenue, but also improve daily operations. They enable a smoother workflow, reduce repetitive tasks, and allow staff to focus on higher value responsibilities. Practices that remain unchanged keep fighting the same operational battles year after year. The compliance and regulatory risks. Healthcare regulations constantly evolve, and documentation requirements change while coding rules are updated. payer expectations become more strict, and practices that do not adapt risk facing unnecessary compliance issues. Even accidental errors in coding and documentation or billing communication can lead to audits, recoupments, penalties, or increased scrutiny from payers. Outdated systems often lack the safeguards needed to prevent documentation gaps, coding inconsistencies, or privacy vulnerabilities. Practices that modernize strengthen their compliance posture significantly by maintaining accurate documentation standards, staying ahead of regulatory changes, and reducing the risk of errors that could damage the practice's reputation or financial health. Practices that resist change face increasing compliance risks, which become more costly and harder to address over time. The long-term strategic cost. The greatest risk of doing nothing is its effect on the practice's future. The healthcare industry is getting more competitive and larger groups are in The healthcare industry is getting more competitive, and larger groups are investing heavily in automation, advanced analytics, integrated communication systems, and sophisticated revenue cycle platforms. These investments help them run more efficiently, reduce errors, and improve financial stability. Private practices that neglect to modernize fall behind in both technology and finances. Growth becomes more difficult. Profitability becomes uncertain. Administrative burdens grow. Providers become overwhelmed. Ultimately, the practice risks losing its independence or being forced to make decisions driven by financial pressure rather than strategic planning. Sustainable growth depends on precise financial processes, up-to-date infrastructure, steady revenue, and solid operational support. When a practice refuses to adapt, it ultimately faces inefficiency as a major hurdle to progress. The cost of lost opportunity. Every year, relying on outdated revenue cycle systems leads to missed opportunities that could greatly enhance. Dude, I'm just so tired of it. How much longer? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I'm just tired of the lists. I'm just A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. D, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, and K. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, O, and P. I gotta take a break for a second. This is just getting to me. All right. Love you. I'll be right back. back, ladies and gentlemen. The cost of lost opportunity. We're back. We're back. We're so back. We're back. Let me make sure we're live on YouTube, too. I didn't see anything on YouTube go through, so I just want to make sure. Yeah. We're back. Edit video. Let's see. I'm going to upload the thumbnail. What should I make the thumbnail? Screenshots. Let's go for a random screenshot that I took. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. I'll go with me acting in a film. We'll do that. I was acting like a D-bag. Hold up. You guys gotta see this. Brave. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this one was called Dead Ends. I was acting. Okay. There we go. I was in a film, and I was supposed to be an Uber driver. And probably could have been okay without the hat there, to be honest. But actually, I think that was my wardrobe. I think I was told to wear that hat. But yeah, that was me acting as a D-bag DoorDash driver. So if just keep your eyes out for a project called Dead Ends. I'm part of it. I'm in it. My character's name is Travis. He's a delivery driver. Nah, it was fun though. It was fun to be on set and see everybody. Yeah, I gotta make sure to get plenty of hydration. Plenty of hydration. Okay. The cost of lost opportunity. Every year, relying on outdated revenue cycle systems leads to missed opportunities that could greatly enhance financial and operational efficiency. These missed opportunities include lost revenue, slower payment processes, obsolete patient communication methods, weak compliance measures, preventable denials, and overlooked optimization strategies. Opportunity cost is a major burden for a practice because it represents revenue and efficiency that cannot be recovered later. The longer a practice delays The longer a practice delays modernization, the harder it becomes to regain lost revenue and rebuild momentum. Choosing a proactive path forward. The real cost of doing nothing far outweighs the expense of modernization. Practices that improve their revenue cycle strategies see more accurate billing, quicker payments, fewer denials, and better revenue protection. They lower administrative burdens, boost staff morale, improve patient communication, and establish a stable financial foundation. That supports long-term success. Doing nothing isn't a conservative or low-risk strategy. It's the most costly and least strategic choice. Practices that act to take action protect the revenue, while those that hesitate end up losing it. The path forward. The future of private medical practice depends on leaders who take purposeful action, adopt modernization, and implement systems that ensure long-term stability. Healthcare is entering a phase where financial strength and operational excellence must work hand in hand. A practice cannot provide outstanding patient care if it fails to protect the revenue stream that supports its operations. A practice cannot provide outstanding patient care if it fails to protect the revenue stream that supports its operations. Modernizing the revenue cycle, whether through improved internal processes, specialized outsourcing, or strategic automation, provides practices with the clarity, consistency, and predictability needed to succeed. These improvements restore control, stabilize cash flow, reinforce compliance measures, and build the operational capacity essential for meaningful growth. They also improve the patient experience by replacing administrative friction with transparency and professionalism. Success does not come to practices that stay passive or rely on hopes that payer behavior will improve. It goes to practices that take action, those willing to confront inefficiency, fix weaknesses, and invest in systems tailored for the healthcare landscape of the future. The path ahead is clear and direct. It requires deliberate steps that strengthen the financial and operational foundation of the practice and eliminate vulnerabilities that quietly undermine revenue. The blueprint is clear. The opportunity is available. And now the responsibility lies. The responsibility lies with the practice leaders. The way forward starts The way forward starts with decisive action, and those who take it will find themselves achieving financial strength, operational stability, and long-term independence. The next step is to execute. Okay, we made it. Fucking 41 minutes, dude. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, Rick. Oh, jeez. Oh, dude. $41 of my life gone. Thought so. Thought so. Denials. You're a denial. Come on. A second issue arises when. Okay. The operational cost of inefficiency. The cost of okay. Nice. So we'll turn off all these. We'll bounce it. Bounce it. Bounce it. I'm about to throw a couple thousand. Wait. What if I... Ah, come on. Oh, it's already over.
Yeah, we gonna stay trippy for life, man.
Yes, sir. I love Big Sean. I'm joking. It's Juicy J. Alright, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go home. Finally. New project. Wait, I want to show you guys what I'm doing. Brave. These are all the chapters we gotta work on. So, it's quite a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and do a new project, upload file, go to Recents, go to Descript Outsource, do chapter 13, and then say I'm the speaker. Then, let's see. I think command back brings me to a new tab. Audio. Chapter 14. There we go. It's going to ask me who dat. I'm going to say me, bitch. Then, Yeah, you know. You know what it is. Everything I do it big. I've ever heard of this guy because he's really good. Um, dude, this thing is burning up right now. This thing is burning up hellas. It is having a hard time. I guess gotta get some air in here for it. This is having a very difficult time. Gotta cool her off. I think it's because I'm uploading and downloading too many things at once. The song was too hot, Wiz. The song was too hot. My computer can't handle it. It's too hot to handle. Flying off the handle, dude. Alright, now it's on transcribing. It should start to simmer down. But, damn, this is... I'm surprised it's still streaming pretty well. Tell you, they don't make these chips like they used to. Okay. I think it should be good now. I think it should be good. Alright, I don't know if you guys know this, because it's nowhere on here. But if you go black and yellow, Novi Novak, check this guy out real quick. Dude, this dude 15 years ago, right? Check this dude out. He comes in, he's on a couch.
I'm so high, I might kick you in the head on accident, man. Hey, you know the microphone smell like weed, right? That's okay. Swag City! No, we know. I'm here now, bitch. Who you fucking with? Cause I know it ain't me. Okay. I said beat it up in a 6-seater truck. All game, no luck. One woman, no slut. I stuck. Your inside sweeter than a trick-or-treater's guts. And she knows where I'm at. I'm in the booth chillin'. Tryna make the whole world mine. You looking at a super villain. And the club is reelin'. With a champagne shooting, stupid spilling. Trying to get that what the fuck happened last night feeling. And that's real to the 10th power. Smoking on that Steve Harvey. Getting Mr. High Tower. Yeah, I smoke the flow. Yeah, I got that smoky flow. Yes, you can get in the car. It's gonna be smoky though. I burn money on trees. Call it smoky though. Burning every tree I see. Don't tell Smokey though. Cause only I can commit forest fires. From writing with tightness. Like my hands got arthritis. With a second, hit a right switch. Lieutenant, will you like this? Simmer down cause the big blunt make it simmer sound in the car with the low light. Like simmer down, spit flow on the mic. To the mic might drown from the flow. With the right to the right of the sound. I got this. You know I got this. I don't get off topic. So welcome to the brain. I'm the pilot of insane. And I'm about to hit your city like Bin Laden's on the plane. Hold up. I'm the shit, so show enough. I am the show. Why did other rappers show up? I mean, I think they know they doomed. Cause I'm just heating up like a junkie on a spoon. She wanna fuck, but I still gotta force it in. She heal up, then she come ride the horse again. can. The track crack like floor versus porcelain. Porsche, I'm in, baby red like abortion skin. I'm on the come up, they don't like how that sound. But I've been killing rappers, why you think they underground? Kids bout to have posters torn down, replaced by pictures and ammo, me sneaking up in the background. Restart, reboot, sharper than a shark tooth. Spit flame, spark, cute, great white part too. It's not difficult, trust me, it's easy. Curls blow, why you think they call breezies? Backstage, Tom Petty in that Super Mary. Girls outside the door like secretary. I heard him utter my name, talking so dairy. Say he extra cold like the 29th of February. And never vary, extra long, no leap year. No, I got a beauty with me, probably cause the beast here. Snitches know I wouldn't snitch, I'd rather need air. Wouldn't cry wolf even during a sheep scare. Ain't fucking with me, man. It's just absurd to see you ain't heard the word. It be the ones that's talking, most certainly ain't never said a word to me. And inside like burglary, I tell myself to kill everything, like 1942 Germany. Who you fucking with? Who you fucking with? Who you fucking with? Swag City, bitch, that's who you fucking with. That's who you fucking with. You don't like me, got a problem, we'll see. Okay, let's go, I got it. Yo, run, go tell your man me. I'm mean on the mic like Kanye at the Grammys. I gotta sell, listen, understand me. Everything in barcode, go ahead and scan me. Did you beat that yet?
I'm trying to think if that stands the test of time, though. Dude, I knew every single word to that, and still do, actually, for the most part, since like 2011. Dude, I loved that song back in the day. And I didn't even like the actual like Black and Yellow. I just loved this remix this dude put together. And I'm trying to think, like, he's got the lyrics in here and everything. That's funny. Even as like even as capitalization on here. That's so funny. All right. 2011 WMG. Okay. All rights, all instrumental rights. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of like how he did this. Okay, so I'll tell you like a little backstory. This guy actually commented on one of my YouTube channels way back in 2000. I think it was like 2000. I think it was 2011. I think it really was, but I think it was later in 2011 because it was my sophomore year. And I remember I was putting my YouTube channel together, and this guy commented on it, and he goes like, haha, yeah, that's crazy. But no, that's actually me, though. And I was like, who's this dude, right? Because this was back when you could comment directly on somebody's YouTube channel. So I went to go look at his channel, and like YouTube looked completely different. But it kind of had the same thing to where there would be a video that played. So I clicked on his channel, and autoplay, Black and Yellow, instrumental, and I'm like, dude, this guy's really good, you know? So I think back then he probably had about 1 million views on this. I think now it's sitting at, 5 million? But he had about 1 million back in the day, and he had this really interesting marketing technique. And I didn't realize this directly at first, but it dawned on me maybe about a year later that I didn't actually say anything to the guy, but he had interacted with me in a way that made me check out his shit and made me go, oh, actually, I'm fucking with it, you know? So it made me realize that that's a marketing technique that I could implement. And I later on would sort of do the same thing where I would like interact with people in a way that would allow them to check out my stuff. And if we were vibing, like I would only interact with people that would most likely like my stuff too. Like fans of famous people that look like me, kind of a thing, you know? So that was, I got that technique directly from this guy, actually. And I went to his concert back in 2011. I got a picture with him. In fact, I have his, I think his dragon sneeze. Is that his I can't remember if that's his album name or if that's just this song. But yeah, this album, whatever this is on, mixing engineer level 3, lyrics by level 3. Oh, is he not writing his stuff? Is that what it is? Or is he going by level 3? Because I think he changed his name a couple of times. Level 3 sign up. Okay, maybe he was just going by level 3. Yeah. SoundCloud level 3. This is Nick from Ukraine. Okay. So, different person entirely now. But, yeah, no, I got this album, and I had him sign it, too. And I saw him live in St. Louis back in 2011. Or maybe it was 12. Maybe it was 2012 at that point. But yeah, that was funny. A little bit of lore. Okay, so we got this in. We got that in. We got chapters 13 and 14 done. Now we're just moving on to chapter 15. Geez, chapter 14 was probably the longest in a long while. Let's finish it. Let's bring it around town. Bring it around town. All right, cut to here, actually. Delete that. There we go. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. The Future of Revenue Cycle Management. A shifting healthcare landscape that demands modernization. Healthcare is evolving so rapidly that even experienced physicians sometimes struggle to keep up. Regulations change, payer expectations become more demanding, coding systems grow more complicated, and patients now take on a larger share of their financial responsibilities. These developments are not slowing down. If anything, they are speeding up. They're speeding up. Consequently, the revenue cycle that a practice relied on for 5 or 10 years ago no longer provides the stability or clarity required in today's environment. The approaches once deemed sufficient have become inadequate in a system that values accuracy, consistency, and real-time responsiveness. Across the country, private practices are realizing that long-term financial strength requires more than just routine billing processes. It needs infrastructure capable of supporting advanced technology, modern communication, and detailed financial oversight. Practices must prepare for a future where both clinical and administrative operations rely on systems that can adapt to rapid changes. While some practices try to manage these demands internally, many discover that the pace of change exceeds their internal resources. As healthcare continues to evolve, outsourcing revenue cycle management becomes less of a preference and more of a strategic necessity. This chapter examines what the future holds for the revenue cycle and, more importantly, how practices can position themselves to remain strong, compliant, and financially secure over the next decade. It covers the technological changes transforming the field, the increasing influence of automation and artificial intelligence, the vital role of data analytics, and the strategic importance of choosing the right partner. To help a practice navigate these upcoming shifts. How technology is redefining revenue cycle expectations. Technology is dramatically reshaping the expectations for medical practices. Not gradually, but quickly. Insurance carriers now use advanced automation systems that identify even minor issues in coding or documentation. I'm going to take a micro break. Feeling it. I'll tell you what. Okay, that was good. All right, I needed that. Now use advanced automation systems that identify even minor issues in coding or documentation. Okay, I'm on pair portals. Payer portals. Payer portals update instantly and require practices to respond swiftly. Payer portals update instantly and require practices to respond swiftly to avoid delayed reimbursements. Patients expect digital communication, clear statements, and easy repayment options. Regulators depend on electronic data to enforce compliance standards more strictly. In this environment, technology is no longer optional. It is essential for efficient and compliant revenue cycle management. Modern billing systems utilize automated tools that check eligibility, identify coding inconsistencies, validate documentation, and prevent common denials. These systems are built to catch errors before claims are submitted, which greatly improves payment speed and reduces administrative workload. However, they are costly, complex, and challenging for small practices to manage. They require updates, integration, and certified billing specialists who know how to operate them effectively. Without proper infrastructure and oversight, technology cannot enhance the revenue cycle. In fact, it might even complicate operations by generating automated alerts that internal teams lack the time or expertise to handle. This is where outsourcing becomes a vital advantage. A high-quality RCM partner invests in the systems, tools, and automation workflows that individual practices cannot afford. By outsourcing, a practice gains access to a fully developed technological ecosystem. By outsourcing, a practice gains access to a fully developed technological ecosystem without the need to purchase, support, or maintain it. This enables providers to focus on clinical care while relying on specialists to handle the complexity of modern revenue cycle demands. The expanding role of automation and why it benefits outsourced RCM. Automation is becoming a key element in revenue cycle management because it handles the most time-consuming and error-prone tasks. Automated claim scrubbing detects missing information before claims are submitted. Eligibility verification tools check coverage details during scheduling or registration. Payment posting tools match electronics remittance. Payment posting tools match electronic remittance advice data to patient accounts. These automated processes cut down manual work, boost speed, and enhance accuracy through the revenue cycle. However, automation cannot operate on its own. Automated workflows still need experienced billing professionals to interpret results, resolve exceptions, and ensure compliance. Automation can spot a coding discrepancy, but only a trained specialist can decide if it is clinically appropriate. Automation can alert staff that documentation is missing, but only a trained reviewer can work with providers to fix the issue. Automation can monitor payer behaviors, but only experienced billers know how to respond to these patterns to protect revenue. This combination of automated tools and human oversight is only practical within outsourced RCM structures. Practices that try to use automation technology internally face challenges because the software needs dedicated attention and specialized knowledge. Without ongoing oversight, automation can lead to alert fatigue or produce inaccurate results that make claims more complicated. An outsourced RCM partner ensures that automation enhances the revenue cycle instead of overwhelming it. As automation continues to grow, the most beneficial practices will be those aligned with RCM partners who know how to combine technology with expert analysis. Outsourcing enables practices to utilize advanced automation without the hassle of managing it themselves. Artificial intelligence as strategic advantage for outsourced RCM partners. Artificial intelligence is becoming more important in the revenue cycle management because it can analyze large amounts of data quickly and accurately. AI-driven coding systems recognize documentation patterns, identify potential coding errors, suggest improvements, and spot inconsistencies that human billers might miss. AI-based claim analysis tools predict potential risks, denial risks, spot payer trends, and monitor compliance issues across large data sets. These functions help improve accuracy, reduce avoidable denials, and strengthen compliance controls. However, AI is not an independent solution. Practices can't just deploy AI tools and expect immediate results. AI requires structured data, integrated systems, oversight from experienced billing professionals, and continuous adjustments as payer rules evolve. Without trained experts monitoring the process, AI might misinterpret documentation, suggest incorrect coding, or generate alerts staff cannot manage. This can introduce new errors instead of fixing existing ones. Outsourced RCM partners are well equipped to use AI responsibly and effectively. They have the infrastructure to integrate AI tools, train specialists to interpret results, and compliance frameworks to keep AI-driven processes accurate and lawful. For practices, outsourcing provides access to AI resources that might otherwise be unreachable, too costly, or difficult to manage internally. By combining AI with human expertise, outsourced RCM partners establish a hybrid model that enhances speed, accuracy, and consistency. AI assists the process while billing specialists retain full control and oversight. This approach represents the future of revenue cycle management and provides outsourced partners provides outsourced partners with a distinct advantage over internal billing departments. Data analytics and financial intelligence as the foundation for strategic growth. In the coming years, medical practices will rely increasingly on data-driven decision-making. Revenue cycle management has traditionally been seen as an administrative task, but the future will treat it as a strategic financial practice. Strategic financial practice. Practices will need detailed insights into payer behavior, denial patterns, service profitability, provider performance, and patient payment trends. Without analytics, practices operate in the dark, unable to identify weaknesses or seize opportunities. Advanced analytics tools provide clarity by revealing financial patterns that influence practice performance. Outsourced RCM partners use these tools to generate actionable insights that support strategic planning. They can identify which payers are underpaying, which codes cause the most denials, which providers struggle with documentation, which service lines are most profitable, and where operational improvements will yield the greatest financial gains. And where operational improvements will yield the greatest financial gains. These insights help practices adapt to changes, strengthen their financial foundation, and plan for future growth. Internal billing systems. Internal billing teams rarely have access to such tools. Because analytics systems need specialized setup, skilled interpretation, and ongoing upkeep. Without outsourcing, most practices can't achieve the level of financial transparency required to navigate the next decade. Outsourced RCM partners provide analytics as part of their service, giving practices a strategic edge that can't be duplicated internally. Future-proofing the practice through partnership and modernization. The future of healthcare demands adaptability, modernization, and professional support. Successful practices will be those that acknowledge the limitations of traditional billing models and adopt revenue cycle modernization as a vital part of their financial strategy. Outsourcing revenue cycle management offers the structure, expertise, and technological backbone that practices need to stay competitive in an increasingly complex healthcare environment. Modernizing the revenue cycle goes beyond simply adopting new tools or processes. It involves building a sustainable financial system that safeguards revenue, improves accuracy, ensures compliance, and supports long-term stability. By partnering with an outsourced RCM organization equipped with advanced automation, AI, AI tools, AI tools, and detailed analytics, practices develop a revenue cycle capable of adapting to whatever the next decade may bring. The future will favor practices that act proactively rather than reactively. Those that update their revenue cycle strategies now will avoid disruptions, lower financial risks, and prepare for growth. Practices that resist change may struggle as payer demands increase and administrative complexities grow. By choosing modernization through strategic outsourcing, practices can protect their financial health and maintain their independence. All right. This marks a good milestone, ladies and gentlemen, because conclusion's already been done. Conclusion has already been done. We scroll down, we go to the references. References have already been done. They've already been done. The summary, already been done. About the author, you might ask. Who's the author? We already got Scott. We talked about this already. Already done. Guess what that means, ladies and gentlemen? Hold up. Let me, YouTube. Let's go to round of applause. Sound effect. Thank you. You're all too kind. Thank you. You're all too kind. Thank you. Guys, thank you. Oh my, shut up. All right. So, we have finished yet another book. This is we've finished the recording portion of this book. I'll say that. So, we've crossed a threshold, and we should feel good about that. We should feel really good. Let's go ahead and take a seat and turn off that script. And let's see. We're at 22:58. Let's see if we can trim that down at all. I don't think we could trim it down by much, to be honest. That's okay. I just remembered, you guys. This dude, because I was looking over here at this Rob Level thing. I just remembered when we went to his concert, he messaged me. He DM'd us, and he was like, he said, "Hey, if you can get your friends to come, if you can get, I think it was like 5 friends. He's like, if you can get like 5 friends to come and get tickets, then we'll give you complimentary tickets." And we were just like, dude, we don't have friends. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It was me and my brother. Me and my brother that went. We were, I want to say fans, but like, I don't think that it was like we liked his music. We liked his music. I'd say that. Like, we weren't like, oh my God, it's the guy. Like, we weren't that level, but we were just like, yo, you make good music. Like, we were into it. And I remember he was like, if you can get 5 friends to come and buy tickets, basically, if you can get 5 friends to buy tickets, we'll give you your tickets for free. And I was like, bold of you to assume I've got 5 friends at the ready to, but first of all, like, of course I had friends, obviously, but like, none of us were well off. Like, my tickets, I think, were like $20 or something. Like, that costs a lot for a high schooler. That costs quite a bit for a high schooler. So, yeah, as a sophomore in high school, I was like, dude, I can barely pay the $20 tickets. I cannot get 5 friends to buy, I can't convince 5 people to buy $20 tickets, dude. No, I cannot do that. But I remember him saying that, and I thought, that is hilarious, man. If only I had like 5 friends that were well off. But no, we were in Jefferson County, dude. We were poor. We were poor. We built forts in our spare time. We didn't go to concerts in our spare time, dude. We built forts in our backyard with like political signs that we found in a dumpster somewhere. Like, this was very much an Ed and Eddie upbringing. It wasn't. This was not. This was not your Powerpuff Girl existence. This was very much Ed and Eddie. We were playing in a dump somewhere, and probably contracting diseases. That's what we were doing. We were not paying $20 to go see an artist in St. Louis, dude. My mom had no idea where we were. If my mom knew we were in St. Louis, dude, that we wouldn't have been there. We would not have been at that concert had our parents known we were out in St. Louis at night. It was a big no-no. It was a huge no-no. But yeah. All right, so I think it's bounced. I think it's good to go. This is transcribing, and thank you. You're all too kind. And that's it for tonight. That is it from me tonight. Get that. Okay. I'm just going to start editing. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to start editing. All right, so let's switch on over to the main camera, and now we're just going to edit for the rest of the night. Not really, it's 11:47, so I think we might have time to hit the gym up for like 45 minutes, do a quick leg workout, and hit up the sauna. I think I've been meaning to go to the gym for quite some time, so I might do that tonight. And we've been live for 2 hours. Fantastic. Look at that. This was a good session. This was a good recording session. I'm very proud of how this turned out. So thank you so much. We got a good solid hour of just solid recording. So I think those stack up over time, and I think it makes us better and better every time we record. So I just hope I am doing it well and I have good I hope that I have good technique, and I might even take some time after these books and like really pick this up off the floor. I might take some time off after these books and really focus on form. I might get an a vocal coach, and make sure I'm like, maybe even showcase a lot of the projects that I'm working on and showcase, like, hey, this is what I've been doing. Do you see any issues? Something like that. I think a vocal coach would do me really well. So, that, and I've always wanted to sing. No, that too, but, it is what it is. Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the playbacks. I see you guys watching the playbacks too. Thank you so much for that, especially because I seen that there was ads on the playbacks, which, first of all, I'm sorry, but second off, thank you, because that slowly builds my income as well. And the more I can build my income through this, the faster I can get away from doing things that I don't really want to do. I don't really want to have my entire day occupied by, I don't want to be reliant on a W 2, to earn my income like that. I'm capable of it. Obviously, that's what I'm doing right now. And I've shown myself to be competent in that regard, but I want to transcend it. And I want to be able to produce value in the world and have that value earn its own income and be able to self-sustain through that value that I create, which allows me to create more value. And then not only that, but once I break myself from that matrix, being able to break others out of that matrix as well. Um, Obviously, not everyone can do it, obviously. But I think everyone has the capacity to do it. That's the thing. I think everybody has the ability in them. It's just their tendency to bring that out could be limited. So I'm optimistic when it comes to that, and I really want to create value for the world. And I think that's a rare quality that's expressed. I think it's a commonality within us all and an aspirational quality within us all. But it's a rare quality to express that. So I want to be able to bring it out in others and bring it out in myself and showcase that to the world. So thank you so much for supporting me along the way. Muchas gracias por seguirme. I appreciate you for the follows. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're up to 100 now. We're up to 100 followers. So that's phenomenal. 100 followers and 2 subscriptions. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all of that. That is more than I could ever ask for. So thank you so much. I love you guys. Muchas gracias, te amo. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Kiss a stranger. Just kidding. Don't do that. But definitely, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. And I will see you. You know what? I said yesterday I would see you tomorrow, and I made do on my promise. So here we are back again, and it's almost tomorrow now. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the support. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you on the next one. I love you. Te amo.